and this is weird, Kevin, just so you know, I'm recording this.
I have props.
You've got props. Look at you. And this would, I think, be my first international Zoom interview.
Right
maybe.
on.
How about that? Do you do them on a regular basis now that you're overseas?
This week, this is my third this week, which is kind of shocking to me. I hadn't really, other than that, the book club that I mentioned, maybe last month that was, I did a couple more presentations. That's this year.
Okay.
Other than that, meeting with friends is it, nothing podcasty.
Well, first of all, let's clarify. So where are you right now?
I'm in Bangkok, Thailand, overlooking the Chao Phraya River, which I think I can show you here.
Oh, check it out. Here's the river. Yeah. Check it out. What a great view. And so now where you're at, you're quarantining right now since you just got over there?
Yeah, this is a government-approved quarantine hotel. It's the Montian Riverside Hotel, as you can see, Riverside. Sure. And we were picked up from the airport by a van that was operated by both the hotel and a corresponding hospital. Each hotel's got a partner hospital that will take care of you if you get sick, and also they monitor you during the quarantine to make sure they run a couple COVID tests during your time here, and keep everything very, very tight. I mean, people are walking around out there somewhere, we don't see them, with the full-on, like almost like a hazmat suit, but that you juried together yourself. But yeah,
that's amazing.
So it's pretty serious, and it's a 7-day quarantine for people with vaccinations. Until about halfway here on the plane, they changed that rule. So when we landed, it was 14 days. But fortunately, we were, grandfathered claused in, if you will. So we only have to do the 7. We have 2 more days to go.
Wow. Well, hey, Kevin, talk about actually the flight too. This is the thing that just made my flags go off. And I thought I need to talk to Kevin Rovolinski. And the reason why is because just the process of trying to travel, you were going from Chicago over to Tokyo, and your flight, you were on a huge plane that holds over 500 people, but there weren't 500 on board.
It actually, I Googled that again, and Google had lied to me. It's about half that. So 260, maybe. It depends on which, because, each airline chooses how they want their seats configured, but it's at least 260. Sure. And there were 34 of us on that first flight, Japan Airlines. And the reason we decided to go so soon, partly because, of course, the desire to see family that we haven't been able to see now for 2 years because, last year the trip got cut off. But it's Japan Airlines, very good quality service, very meticulous, as is kind of stereotypical of Japanese culture, very meticulous. It partners with American Airlines, so we were able to use air miles, and we knew that people wouldn't be traveling as much right away. It would take some time for it to kind of gear up, and we didn't expect it would only be 34 on the whole plane.
I mean, it was empty. It's unbelievable to fly that far, and then it feels like you've got the plane to yourself. I mean, kind of.
It really did. I mean, we got up and just laid across the middle seats, like, oh, no, honey, this is my row. You take the row behind, and it was from window to window, that's, virtually unheard of. So
that's amazing. Hey, let's talk a little bit about writing now. The first time that I ever got a chance to talk to you was about the Wisconsin Beer Guide years ago, and then all of the things you ended up having to add to it, because as you know, we drink a little beer here in Wisconsin. So you got another book you got out here recently, and can you talk about that a little bit and why it's a kind of departure from other stuff that you've written?
Totally. So I've been doing a lot of outdoor and travel guides. That's my background's really been a travel writer. It's what's gotten me into professional writing anyway. Years ago, of course, I loved to write stories when I was a kid and through school and through college. And so last year, travel writing kind of dried up. I mean, there were sections that actually closed at big papers that they didn't have it because what are they going to write about? Who's going to write it? And what are they going to tell people to do? Hey, someday when we can travel again, maybe check out this place. So I needed something to do during quarantine, you might say. And I took up my old short stories and wrote a bunch of new ones and put together a collection. And it's called Stealing Away. Yeah, there's the
Look at
plug.
there. There
It
it is.
seems a little funny to travel with your own book, but such is the task of the independent writer. You have to constantly be trying to get the word out there and promote it. It's a collection of 12 short stories, half of them set in mostly Wisconsin or Midwestern at least, and then the other half in various places abroad that I've lived in and traveled in. And now it's all fiction. So people, anything weird in there, there's some dark things that happen in some of the stories, all made up, guaranteed.
So the guy who's on fire that's being chased by the bear.
Yeah, that was just all fiction, didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple, moments in there that are a bit dark, let's say. And
Well,
but I think they're stories about people trying to find their way in the confusing modern world, and some of them are doing well, some of them not so much.
so I'm
It got some
assuming,
Nike.
Kevin, for that
Mhm.
book, we could probably find that at Yankee Bookstore and maybe Amazon, places like that. Is that my guess? Or
Yeah, you can order it on my website, kevinrovolinski.com, of course, but you can also go to any independent bookstore, for example, in Wausau, and order it. It's available through all the major distributors.
okay,
So
way cool.
and it's gotten some good reviews from people like another Wisconsin author, Nicholas Butler, Shotgun
Okay.
Love Songs, had nice things to say about it, and J. Ryan Strattle, author of The Lager Queen of Minnesota. Both of them had very nice things to say about it, and that's on the back of the book. So I'm
Oh
not making
man.
it
Well, Kevin, listen, for where you're at, I'm always
up.
fascinated by this because there's been times when you've traveled over there before and you gave us some incredible food porn, and I was really appreciating that whenever you get into Asian food of any kind. And so I was just wondering, when you get over there, are there things you look forward to that you have to go to? Like, is there a White Castle or anything like that you have to go to type place?
White Castle, boy, that seems almost insulting. But there are places that absolutely, we've got a short list or a long list, I should say, of places that we will go to. If we're here for 2 weeks, it's like, okay, we got to go to Crew Ups one for the soup and this dish, and this place for the pad thai, that place for the curry, that one guy in that side street that does the fried chicken that's amazing. We have our list to get through, and then we'll go to some other things with friends that are new. There's an amazing Indian place here, oddly enough, that's owned by a Thai woman who learned in the various Indian restaurants around Bangkok. And we don't even talk about that with people. It's like, shh, don't tell anybody. It's amazing. It's all vegetarian, which shocked me when I was there, saying, hey, what happened to that deep fried chicken dish that you had? And they're like, sir,
Yeah.
it's cauliflower.
See, yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
What kind of miracle is that?
Yeah, right, right. And
So anyway,
the other thing is your family, I'm going to take a guess, maybe cooks over there. I mean, probably a lot. So a lot of home meals, that sort of thing.
you'd be surprised. Actually,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law does cook and cooks well, but for the most part, a lot of Thai people, it almost doesn't pay unless you've got a large group of people, and we're all adults and have moved on, so there's not kids in the house. It's cheaper to just go out in the street and order up. It comes in little plastic bags wrapped quickly with a rubber band.
Right.
The meals and the food carts, it just doesn't make sense to go out grocery shopping. We did that back in 2010. We had a friend's condo to ourselves, and we said, hey, we're going to do some home cooking, and it was a fortune. I mean, you'd go to the market and get all this food that you were never going to finish, put it all together and cook it, and you thought, wow, that wasn't really worth it. Back home, yeah, absolutely, but here in Thailand, it's almost, it seems weird. And food
Man,
courts are actually amazing here. Like at malls, you think food court, ugh, who's going to go to a food court? But the food at food courts is cheap and usually very, very good. And they've got places that are to feed office workers and stuff. So you go there because people are going there every day, and everything's fresh, and it's just it's just counterintuitive, I guess, as an American.
Well,
Food store. Come on.
you've opened my eyes to food globally on what's where. Because didn't we back in the day we were talking about turkey and
Oh
yogurt,
yeah.
and I'm
Yeah,
sitting
yeah,
there going,
right.
yeah, okay. Teach me, because I wouldn't know any of that kind of stuff. And you fortunately travel all over the place and then write it down.
And because I'm getting old and lazy, it's like, hey, do you want to go, wherever you travel to? Let's go climb the mountain or the volcano or the pyramid. I'm like, what's there to eat around here? So it's a little easier adventure, I guess, and a fattening one. But as you mentioned, Turkey, I lived there for a year, and I wrote a book about my experiences teaching there. The Yogurt Man Cometh. But I've been back there maybe 20 times. Every time I go back, there's like, what, you've never had this dish before? Come on, this is classic, and something particular to that region of Turkey. And I love that. I love exploring a place through food, and I've been doing some writing in that regard now. Also moving from travel like into food, whatever. I'll write
Oh,
about it.
well, you gotta come on, it's your
Gotta.
gift. You should do
Yeah.
that. Well, Kevin, speaking of dinner, I'm gonna get mine together. But
Excellent.
I can't wait to talk to you again when you get back overseas, and we talk about your book more that you've got out now, and then other stuff on the way, because I know you got plenty.
I look forward to it, and I'm hoping to get up there this summer and maybe do a couple events, or at least come have a beer with you.
You know the way.
I do.
Way cool. Kevin Rovolinski, guys. Woo.